Good evening, welcome to Ozarks. Tonight I'm Brian Calfano, joined by familiar faces, Nick Reed and Amy Blancett. And tonight, folks, let's talk about guns. I don't think we've talked about guns specifically. If I'm trying to think back to our different topics, I don't know.
Briefly, I think we touched on gun control.
Well, it keeps coming back because the Democrats are, of course, looking for their savior to try to go against President Trump next year. And a lot of them, including former Congressman O'Rourke from El Paso, are worried about the availability of guns. Democrats in Congress are pushing for background checks, enhanced background checks.
And Republicans are
maybe on the fence about what
trying to protect themselves by saying, okay,
hedge their bets. So background checks for any kind of gun sale, I think, is where the Dems want to go with this. And President Trump, as of right now, is sort of on the fence. So where do you guys come out with this in terms of what ought to happen?
You know, there was a recent article that was released that was pretty educational on of a lot of the recent massacres, where and how were the guns received. And some of them were received by going through background checks. A majority of them were, one of the individuals, I believe, had 55 weapons that were all done through proper channels. So to say that a background check, and he has had a clean background check. So even though it's a step, on the other side, there were many of those weapons that were received from friend to friend, so an acquaintance had given them, or they had been acquired purchasing in other markets.
But this is where the Dems want to actually push the background checks for those kinds of transactions, if I understand it correctly.
Correct.
So they're trying to get that for almost any kind of gun transaction.
But this I'm saying is the majority of them were received through individuals who took the right channels. The others of me buying from my neighbor quietly because I want a gun, or honestly, my father gave me his gun because we had an incident at my house, so I had a weapon that technically for a period of time wasn't registered to have. Those are the kinds of things where even if we're doing background checks, people are still going to acquire guns.
But Nick, the Democrats are so certain that increasing background checks will solve the problem. They seem to be. They're very adamant.
No, that's fine.
I don't, and I love that you're playing the devil's advocate and saying that is all.
I'm usually the one that's on the receiving end.
I'm just telling you what I see. They're so on these debates and Pelosi. So I mean, they must know something we don't. Yeah.
Well, listen, I know I sound like a broken record when it comes to a lot of these issues and on these different subjects we talk about. But I just look at, will this work? Does this work? Aside from, I've got these two tests. The first, is this the role of government? And then, if it is, will it work going about it this way? And sometimes even for fun, when the answer is no, it's not the role of government.
Let's pretend.
It's an intellectual exercise. We'll look at it. The one thing we take out of the equation on all of these discussions is the desire of a person to kill other people. That is taken out of every one of these equations when it comes to how can we solve this problem. Whether we talk about waiting periods, whether we talk about background checks, we talk about banning certain types of weapons. People, in fact, most people who kill people even here in the United States aren't doing it with firearms. They do it with blunt objects. They do it with their hands. They do it with knives. Over in England, they now do gun or knife buyback programs because they have put such a clamp down on firearms. They too have a cultural problem when it comes to people wanting to kill other people.
But the mass killings are a little easier when you've got an semi-automatic.
And then all of a sudden, again, we get in the weeds. Is it mass across the board gun control, or are we talking about how do we begin to reduce the mass killings? And then again, we were talking about how culturally all these things, come back to that.
But it sounds like background checks. This is going to be the timely news in the next several days. The background checks are almost like a victory for window dressing because they don't really get at the issue.
And I think one of the reasons that they end up not happening to a further degree than they already do is the reality and the logistics of it. If you want to go purchase a firearm from a dealer or from Walmart or from any of these, there are background checks. Really, we're talking about the same thing. Family hands them down. And the reality, how many families are really how many grandfathers are going to pay for the service to go onto a database and do a background check on their own family member? I think there's a recognition that is not, it's just not going to happen. The red flag laws, these are a whole nother area that for me, it's frightening because it seems as if lots of people feel more safe about that than banning guns. But to me, it's even more dangerous because we're talking about a due process issue there. And
Explain that.
well, the idea behind red flag laws, which a number of states have already put into place, is that somebody, and it depends on the state, can go to local law enforcement and say, you know, I'm worried about Nick. He's been posting anti-government stuff, or he's been acting depressed.
You've already done
yeah,
that.
Yeah. So then a judge will look over that information and then decide whether or not your firearms should be confiscated.
Based on hearsay.
Yeah, well, and then now you have a chance, and this is where some say, well, no, you have due process because you have the opportunity to come and prove your innocence. Well, that's not due process. What if we treated everything that
That's
way?
harassment.
Well, you know, if that were due process, that means that I could just be thrown in jail and accused of grand theft auto, and just leave me there until I prove otherwise. Well, that's not how we do things.
You know, so again, you know, we're talking about how do we begin this very massive component of who has guns responsibly, and then at what point is a gun owner not responsible? Does a background check prove that? When again, many of the individuals who have been mass shooters, they had a background check.
Right,
They passed them, right?
Well,
and then they failed. Now they will forever fail one. It's a little too late.
Well,
We've got to have something else.
Well, and here's the reality to that, is every single person who is anything, they did that one thing for the first time at one time.
Right.
So
How do you predict that? It's not predictable.
yeah, so you can't always look at past
But they weren't
behavior.
doing this as much back in the day.
Right, and that's
Which
a whole
gets
other
to your
show.
cultural-
yeah,
Yes.
absolutely, and I have that one pinpointed, but I know we probably don't have time today.
We'll get to it though soon. Folks, Amy Blanchett, Nick Reed with us tonight. Thank you for being here, and we'll be back after this.